Okay, we're back with another installment of Questions with Mark Williams. Today we have a very special guest. She's primarily one of the best ball handlers in New York City, one of the best guards, if not the best point guard. No one else kill me. Best point guard in New York City basketball. Obviously, I'm talking about Skye Owen. Skye, introduce yourself. Who you are? Tell everybody who you are.
Yeah, I'm Skye Owen. I played for St. Francis Prep High School. I verbally committed to Wake Forest University. I won the city championship last year. Just been playing basketball all my life and love the game. Straight A student, of course, because that's important.
Most important.
And that's pretty much it.
That's it. And you come from a basketball family, so you've been around the game for a long time.
Yeah.
So you have a pretty extensive basketball career so far, obviously, and history. But we're going to talk about stuff that's not necessarily related to basketball. All right. Okay. All right. So first question I have lined up for you is in the political climate that we're in right now, a lot of people are stressing for basketball players and all celebrities and athletes to stay in their place and just shut up and dribble, shut up and rebound, whatever the phrase is, shut up and dribble. What's your stance on athletes having an impact and using their platform for social change?
I think that it's important that athletes use their platform for social change because they influence so many people and so many kids out there, like LeBron James and Maya Moore, who just took a year off, to help fight against a guy who was wrongly convicted and got sentenced to 50 years. So, and LeBron James and the other players wearing I Can't Breathe shirts and hoodies to represent like different problems going on in our society today. And I feel like they're making changes. Like in the past, basketball players didn't really say much, they just let it happen what was happening. But now there's players standing up to these problems and these issues, that we face.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing also because they're using their platforms to make change. And because most people are more apt to follow LeBron James than they would somebody, let's say the history teacher, they're using their platform to do such.
Exactly.
I think that you're absolutely 1,000% correct. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're up. What you got for me?
Your change. Okay. All right. What are some further actions sports leagues athletes can take to facilitate police reform?
Say that again.
All right. That
sounds too deep for my intellect. Let me hear that again.
Okay. What are some further actions sports leagues or athletes can take to facilitate police reform?
Police reform?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, other than providing a great deal of symbolism, can athletes make a change socially and as it relates to police reform? I think that has to happen through our elected officials who's delegating the money. I'm not saying that they should obviously defund police because obviously we need police. I just think that athletes can bring awareness to the social ills that go on within the police and also society as a whole. But as far as them making a change, I think that they can create a groundswell that can get more people involved and have them more light shed on the situation. But as far as making actual change, I think the elected officials and which are the politicians can actually make the change over a long period of time.
I agree. That was a pretty good response.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready for my... Oh, you're up. Yeah. Okay. If you search social media right now, there's a hashtag that's running around right now. I know that in years past, Nike's had a great deal of hashtags geared towards attracting or bringing awareness to women athletes, whether it was ballers, women or ballers also, or ballers life for women, whatever the case may be. But there's always been a hashtag. But this one seems to have a different feel to it. The future is female. That seems to be pervasive on social media with the hashtag. What's your take on that hashtag? And more importantly, what does that mean to you as a young athlete growing up here in the social media world?
I feel like that hashtag shows us that females are taking a more prominent role on all areas of society now, because like we see Kamala Harris, first woman vice president, first Black vice president. It just shows that women can have so many more opportunities nowadays than they had before. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And also that whole, NCAA tournament thing, where you saw the women had the small weight rooms and the men had the big, and like people stood up to it and they made the changes. So now we start to see women starting to get more and more and more, you know what I'm saying?
Right. I think on top of that, if you look at, and I'm big into this, if you look at the ratings on women's games as opposed to men's games in today's NCAA, and then also the WNBA compared to the NBA, the WNBA they're gaining a market share, whereas the WNBA is losing a market share on a yearly basis. So the NBA is losing a market share on a yearly basis, primarily because a lot more people are involved in WNBA basketball. And me, from a basketball purist standpoint, I'm sure like you and your family also, they prefer to watch that game, the WNBA game, more so because it's based on more fundamentals as opposed to high-flying dunking and once you're great or dazzling moves, but it's not, fundamentally based. What's your take on that?
Wait, what'd you say? Sorry.
Yeah. The fundamentals are more stressed in the WNBA than they are in the NBA and also some college programs.
Yeah, I think women's basketball, they do like, you can see more passing, cutting, screening away. Meanwhile, men's basketball, they have that, they do. But there's a lot of just one-on-one goals. I mean, women's basketball does that too. But I feel like women, because some women aren't as athletic as the men, they focus more on, like the fundamentals of basketball rather than just dribbling and running and dunking on poor guys. I mean, it is fun to watch though.
Right. But, I agree with you.
I feel like the women's game is very interesting too, if you like really understand it and look for certain things.
Right. I agree. Okay. You're up.
All right. What are your thoughts on the new NCAA transfer rules? On the new rule, yeah.
Being that I coach on a collegiate level, I feel for those coaches because each year you have to recruit a new team for the most part.
Yeah.
But from the standpoint of a player who I will stand with players more times than not, I think this is a great rule. It levels the playing field, but I think more so it allows better treatment for players of different programs. So, for instance, I'm not saying Wake Forest is doing anything unsavory, but a program could be on some bullshit and treat their players as such, and that player now can have the opportunity to leave. In years past, that player would have to deal with the bullshit and have to suck it up for those 3 to 4 years. Now the player can say, you know what, thank you, but no thank you. I'm going to go take my services elsewhere. So yeah. I understand from the standpoint of a coach and an administration, it's hard to recruit on a yearly basis. I got that and I understand that. But I think that now it puts the power in the player, in the player's hands. And then it's also, it's hypocrisy to allow the coaches to be able to transfer and leave, and the players are stuck at that particular school. I think it's just it levels the playing field and gets as equality. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Being a budding college athlete, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think you're right. It does provide more opportunities for females to be able to be in happier situations than they would have, even certain stuff that happens outside of basketball that they want to transfer, but they're, they don't want to sit. I feel like now, it's, to give them the choice is good.
Yeah, if I'm a college coach right now, and I lose out on a player such as yourself, I'm trying to stay in contact, or at least monitor your progress, because there's a good chance, not necessarily you, but that person could transfer within a year or so.
Yeah.
So I would try not to be an asshole to my current team, because I know that everyone talks. So I want to be as good of a person first and foremost, as well as a coach, to be able to attract players to my program.
Yeah, it makes sense. That does.
And then if I'm a Division II program, oh, I'm killing. Because you're going to get a lot of transfers.
Yeah, you are. There's so many kids in the transfer portal now. Yeah, it's interesting.
Like a small city.
It is.
Okay, all right. I'm up, right?
Yep.
Okay. We are currently in AAU grassroots time of basketball. Spring, summer. And there's a lot, I'm honest, there's a lot of bullshit that goes on that's attached to both, youth basketball and grassroots basketball. If you were in charge for a week and a half, what would you change regarding youth basketball and grassroots basketball? And please, whatever she says, she's not throwing any program under the bus. This is just her opinion as the director of AAU. Go, Skye, what you got?
Yeah. If I were to change one thing, I feel like I'd extend the live period, just to give more players an opportunity to be seen. Because you have these tournaments that are like 126 teams playing all at once. And so coaches aren't able to get to all the games. So I feel like that would give an opportunity to more kids.
Yeah, so you would spread it out more so, you have more live periods, or have it where it's only 50 tournaments, 50 teams at this event, 50 teams at this event. So you just spread it out more where coaches can see actually players.
I feel like you could do both. Have more live periods and more separate stuff. Oh yeah, that would be a bit better.
Yeah, I like that idea. Because also, if you're playing on, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, what were you gonna say?
Because if you're playing on court 98, it's going to be hard for a coach to go all the way to court 98 when he or she's staying at court 2.
Exactly. Maybe running over the coaches. You see them with their clipboards and whatnot, but. Yeah. Also, I would like have more of a chain, like this way you could see the distinction between the high school basketball and AAU basketball, and like put like a little bit of a gap in between the start of each one. Like last year I was playing the championship. You got high school practice, you got AAU practice, and they kind of like they mix, like, so it's like you go to high school, you go to AAU, you're not sure which one, and so. I feel like you would prevent injuries too if you put a gap in between the two of them, because you give athletes more of a time to recover and actually do like the training that they wouldn't do on season. You know what I'm saying? Like in college, they have on season and then they have post-season workouts that they do. So that little gap would provide some recovery time for the athletes.
Agree 1,000%. What else? What other change would you make?
No, that's it. That's all I got.
That's it?
Yeah, I feel like those are two important ones.
Oh, you are right. They are very important, but I'm sure that there's others. If you sat and really thought about it, you're like, oh yeah, we need to get rid of that. I would like to see. Good question. I would like to see the best teams play the best teams, as opposed to, this program is good on the UA circuit. This one's good on the Adidas circuit. This one's good on a Nike circuit. We need to see who's the king and who's the queen of the youth basketball. I think that far too many times programs run purposely to avoid that, and I think that's if I'm a player, I want to play against Skye Owen. If I'm a point guard in North Carolina, I want to see what she's about. I shouldn't be in the position where, because I don't play on that circuit, I'm never going to play against her until we get to college. I want to challenge myself. If she's the best, I'm going to knock the best off.
I agree with that. I do. Because, yeah, that makes sense. You have the best in the Nike, the EYBL, you got the UAA, you have the Adidas. It's like you can't really see who the best is. That is true. And you also get an opportunity to play against the best, which every kid wants to do that, Yeah, I agree. That's a good one. That is a good one.
Yeah. I got a lot more, but we don't have that much time, and this segment is not that long. I don't want to bore everyone with all the problems. But then, from what I see from the outside looking in, that's it. It's 3-3.
No, I asked you two, but I don't know. The next one was kind of like though. I just put who do you think the best player was in the women's college March Madness. I mean, in women's college basketball this season.
The best player?
Yeah, women's college basketball this season.
I'm gonna go against conventional wisdom and say that Paige Beckers was not. I'm going to say I think it's so. To me, you make your money in the postseason, in the tournament for college. In the tournament, when it counted, granted she's a freshman. I'm not knocking anything against her. I just thought that the McDonald from Arizona put on a mother effing show, and she put it on when you needed to put on the show. I think the guard from Louisville is a mother effing problem. Dana
Evans, yeah.
I think the young lady from Michigan I thought was unguardable at times. The big killing, and Boston from South Carolina. If given the ball, I just think that looking at it, too many of the guards took too many shots. I think they should have pounded into her more times than not. But I thought at the end of the day, McDonald put on a show.
Yeah, I agree. She was, yeah.
That's who you had. That's who you had? You had her as the best player?
That's who I had.
You know, that's funny because she's a small guard. You're a small guard. You fast and crafty. I get it. I got it.
Yeah, she kind of reminds me of my style of play a little bit. A little bit. Yeah.
Okay, I have one more final question. Ready? This is off the cuff. I just made it up.
Right.
Being that your brother played Division I basketball, right?
Yep.
And your father played also. Who's the best of all three of y'all?
Me. Definitely me. It's definitely me. I mean, some in the household might say Raven, my brother, but I think it's me. If you ask me.
Probably Raven would say it's him.
Yeah, but I think it's me.
You think you could bust your father's ass?
I think so. You know, in the old age, he got a little slow, not as fast as he used to be. But, you know, brother, he, now he's like diesel, so he can't move. He's not as agile. So I think it'd be me.
Okay. Yeah. What about your mom? She hooped?
No, she's not the basketball.
Oh my God. So she's probably the best one. She probably got the best knees of everyone because she can run around.
Definitely. Definitely. My brothers and my dad, like you can see like the different markings from the falling on the concrete and the scars from over the years.
She just got nothing.
Nothing, just normal people's skin, just scarless. It's crazy.
That's funny. All right, no other questions. I think you did a great job. I want to wish you nothing but the best. Next year, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, and for your last year of high school basketball, and then obviously the year after when you go to Wake Forest.
Yep. Thank you.
Wake Forest. What was that?
This is thank you. Appreciate it.
You're still a bum, but
Okay. All right. Well, yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for contributing to the question segment, and everyone. That's Skye Owen, point guard from St. Francis Prep High School here in Fresh Meadows, New York. She lives in the Forgotten Borough, aka Staten Island, and she's a point guard, crafty with the ball, can handle it, and not as good as me.
Whoa. Yeah, you could say that. I think I'd take your ankles any day, but I don't know.
You may, but I'm gonna meet you at the rim and block it. Though, so.
No way. You're not blocking me. I don't believe you.
No, seriously. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for having me.